Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
When it comes to managing money, forget the hype and look at the results. Bill has $1 trillion of secure payments powering our bill pay tools. Instead of just moving money, Bill is powering the financial operations of nearly 500,000 customers. So stop the guesswork and start scaling with the proven choice. Ready to talk with an expert? Visit Bill.com/proven to get started. And grab a $250 gift card as a thank you. Terms and conditions apply. See offer page for details.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing mountain dew. So give me my good friends, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Hello and welcome to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Brooke Brigham, I'm the attorney.
And I'm Tess Brigham, I'm the therapist.
Now, we are here to talk about Sister Wives, Season 18, Episode 3, called Throwing Stones in Glass Houses. And we are like emotionally, physically, mentally drained because we just watched the episode.
We just finished it moments ago and we are podcasting right now.
This is
and
raw.
I am spent.
This is raw.
I feel spent. I feel emotionally drained. I feel like Janelle right now, right after when she's like, turn the cameras off.
Yeah, when she's like, I have to process this.
Yes.
I have to.
God.
What just happened?
What did we just witness? What did we just see?
I don't know. It's the craziest episode of Sister Wives or any other show for that matter, reality TV show that I have ever seen. It was so intense.
It was so intense.
So many words were exchanged.
I'm sure
so much happened.
We had to rewind so many times. We had to go back so many times. And even when we went back 3 times, I was picking up new stuff. And I'm sure we've missed things. And oh my God, but I don't think we could have watched it again because it was so much.
And if we talk about every single, we would be here all night.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's just so much that happened. This was a very intense episode.
Yeah. All right.
So, okay, let's get started.
Okay.
The episode started out in Oklahoma.
Yes.
Where Kody is on a man trip.
Not a boys trip. A man trip.
So he's there with his brother, Michael. I think that's his youngest brother.
Yes. We realized we'd seen him before.
Yeah. He came to visit them in,
I think season 4.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
He's 33. His brother-in-law, Nathan, is there. He's married to Meri's sister, Rebecca. We've seen him several times before. Mm-hmm. And then Brian was the friend of his. He's the one who lives in Oklahoma that Kody officiated his wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So he talks about how, he likes to get together with his bros. And he says it's kind of like a men's group.
Yes. Where they only really talk about Kody's problems.
Because that takes up all the time. There's no time left.
There's no time for anybody else's problems in this group. It's all just Kody's problems.
Yes. And so Kody is walking them through his process.
Yes.
Of what's been happening with Christine leaving him. And, he starts out when he saw the boxes in the garage, he was in disbelief. But then he says that his first reaction, his first feeling after that was relief.
Yes, it was.
That was interesting.
Yeah, it was relief and then anger. And he stayed there. He's still in anger, people.
And, in case you haven't noticed.
He's still angry.
Yeah.
He's still very, very angry. But then he decided, let me think about this. Let me research this. Let me get online and think about how do you deal with divorce and divorce situations. So then he got online and he started to learn about how this we had to rewind on, which was about these groups where it's about men who walk away from women. It's a movement.
It's a movement
of walking away from women movement, about angry men who have been left, or walking away from, what was it? Walk away from women movement.
Yeah.
About angry men who have been left.
So the woman left first, and then the men
are
say,
angry.
well, I'm angry. I'm walking away from women.
Oh, got it.
I think women in general,
so
like they're pissed.
It's essentially a women hating group.
Exactly.
That Kody is starting to, really get on. And apparently the feedback he's gotten from Robyn especially is, ugh.
Yeah, I
don't like this. And you've really started to hate women. And the best is
Didn't he even use that word? I wrote down, he said that
he says woman hater.
Yeah, he says being a woman hater affected his relationship with Robyn.
Yeah.
So he's admitting to being a woman hater.
Yeah. Well,
That's
and he
shocking.
says that both Robyn and Janelle have made comments, but especially Robyn, but he doesn't mention Meri at all. This is the best.
Meri's not even considered a wife.
And you
in
know
his
what?
mind.
Meri doesn't even, we see at the end of this episode, Meri doesn't even factor herself in anymore. I mean, that's the saddest part, is Meri doesn't even factor herself in. Like, Meri doesn't even, it's like, God, Meri, have some more respect for yourself.
Yeah. And then Robyn talks about how Kody's emotions are all over the place, but it always comes back to anger.
Yes.
And she says, the only funny thing she's ever said, she says she calls it the Kody coaster.
And I have to say that was very clever, Robyn.
That was a good line.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Maybe someone gave that to her and she stole it.
Probably.
Yeah. But, and then thank God for Nathan. Nathan finally says the most sane thing that any of these men have said to him, which is Nathan says, underneath all of this anger, because anger is a secondary emotion, underneath anger is fear, he says, and it's true, it's anxiety. And then he says the other one was, what is
self-delusion.
Self-delusion, which I don't know so much about that, but it's, he says that it's really, it's, his sadness and his all of that. And he says that Kody needs to look in the mirror and own up to everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Oh, what a crazy, crazy idea.
Yeah.
For him to maybe look at himself a little bit and stop freaking out and getting so angry about Christine, and look at yourself and maybe ask yourself, what went wrong?
What role did I play in this?
Yes.
He's just blame. He blamed Christine for everything, and now he's going to blame Janelle for everything.
God,
as if he was not he was not a part of this marriage. He had no part to play.
Even if, I have to say, with couples, even if you're in a couple and one person cheats, yes, it's not the person who didn't cheat, the person that was cheated on or whatever, even though it's not their fault that the other person cheated, they still play, everyone plays a role. Mm-hmm. When something goes wrong in a marriage, both parties, maybe it's 90% one person, but there's still 10% the other person. Nobody, if you have two people in something, it's someone as even if you're doing everything, you feel like you're great, you still have a percentage. So Brian asks him, well, what are you going to do? How are you going to feel if Christine enters into another relationship, which we all know she does. Mm-hmm. And Kody says, I don't know. I don't know. I felt betrayed, jealous. I guess there's not much I can do.
Yeah. Well, and before that, we get this interjection from, first, Kody says that he's, just going back in time, saying he felt ambivalent when Christine said, don't come over anymore. And he said he thought she was just playing with him or playing a game. Mm-hmm. And that, then he starts talking about shame, like sadness and shame, the shame of divorce, which I think
I missed that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you were probably catching up on the last section.
Yes.
But yeah, I think Kody, and that's tied in with ego. He feels shame. Yeah. Like people are going to look at him like, oh, you were this guy who went on a TV show and talked about, what a great polygamous husband you were. And now these women are leaving you.
Yes.
And, and so then Robyn says that she thinks it's important for Kody to have this man time but she should have. They should have put that at the beginning of this. And that men need men time, women need women time. And Janelle says Kody's always needed his man time. And they used to call it Testosterone Tuesday in Utah.
I guess I didn't write that down because I was like, why are we interjecting this now?
Yeah,
What's
it was
the point?
Kind of out of order. But anyway, and then Kody starts explaining how one of the good things about polygamy is when if the wife is being cantankerous, it's nice to be able to get away from her and go to another wife. And Meri says, that's bullshit because just because you have somewhere else to go doesn't mean that you shouldn't stay there and try to work out whatever is happening. And you're just going to leave all your responsibilities to this wife and children, and just because you don't like how things are going, and then go to the next wife's house. And that's true. I mean, that's abusing polygamy. That's not like a benefit of polygamy. That's an abuse of polygamy.
Yes.
If you just, run away because you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, So anyway, then they talk about Christine, and Kody he just keeps going on about how he's been betrayed and yada, yada, yada.
But Kody does realize that he thinks that the moment in time where he lost Christine, or the moment where he felt like things could have changed, was that he says at one point Christine told him how much she hated polygamy and how unhappy she was. And he thinks that at the time he said that I told her that, no, well, you've gotten so much from polygamy. You've gotten me and... Of course. Yeah. And your kids. And me first. And the kids. And this is also great. And he realizes now that he should have validated her feelings and, been there for her. And then we get this interview with Christine, and she says, no, it had nothing to do with that. She said, it was because I did everything for him and beyond. And when I asked him for help, he said no.
Help with their children.
I needed help with the kids, and he was never around and not able to help at all. And that he was incredibly helpful with Robyn and her kids. And, he was not like that with her and her kids. And then we get into this whole thing about him saying that is this where he gets into this whole thing about like when they were in Lehigh, he was working 60 hours a week.
So he couldn't help.
And I guess once because Robyn came in around the time of the TV show and he wasn't working and they were doing the TV show and the MLM stuff, he was at home a lot more. And then we hear from Robyn saying, well, yeah, that's right. Kody wasn't around. That's why I always needed babysitters, that I couldn't ask him for help. But obviously there's a real disconnect here because all the women seem to feel like he spent the bulk of this time with Robyn. So, and that helped him with with her kids a hell of a lot more than the other kids.
Yeah, definitely. Because he wasn't having to work 60 hours a week at some, just a regular job.
Yeah. So, and it's obvious, it's very, very obvious that when they were in Vegas and we're doing this rewind right now, and we're in season 5, which is about the time that they're in Vegas, and Christine is really, really struggling and having a hard time, and no one is helping her. And it's very obvious that it looks like,
and she's asking for help,
and she's needing help. And it seems like it's around this time that maybe Kody is really helping a lot with Robyn's kids. And Robyn has a nanny, her sister. Right.
Where's Christine's nanny?
Yeah. So.
And then he did admit that his anger has affected everyone. So it's like, okay, well then do something about it.
Yes.
But so then we enter into a very intense scene that went on for quite a long time.
But the best is we're at Janelle's house, and the thing is that we're at Janelle's house, and the Janelle needs to finalize Christmas because she rented this Air BnB and she's going to have Christmas separate, and she needs to kind of finalize these plans with Kody. And the best is Janelle's sitting on this teeny tiny little couch because it's the only couch,
like a love seat. Yeah.
This love seat. It's the only thing that'll fit in her tiny apartment. And Kody comes walking into barging in like such bravado, like he owns the place, into this apartment, and he comes storming in, and he's like with sunglasses on. He's like, oh, it's so cold out there. And he's like, comes in and he's like, I need to drink. And he starts, all he's she's just trying to get some work done. And he's yammering on about like, I only drink hot water right now. I'm drinking hot water anytime to stay warm. I got to get some hot water here going. Like, oh, shut up.
And then he's like, you have a very small Christmas tree.
Yeah, it's like, because I have this very tiny fucking apartment.
That apartment, God, it's so small. And there's just stuff stacked up everywhere, wherever she can fit it, in every corner, in every nook and cranny. It's just full of stuff because it is tiny. Tiny. I mean, it's so unfair. So she's like, well, yeah, I'm going to take it with me to the Airbnb.
She's trying to very subtly, the Airbnb, I'm going to go to the Airbnb.
Yeah, and then they flash back to the scene where they were all on Robyn's porch outside, and she tells, let's see, she's explaining to Kody that everyone but Maddie and Caleb are coming for Christmas, and so they've got this Airbnb, and then Christine and some of her kids are going to come up and join them, and they're all going to be there together, and Kody is just pissed.
Yes.
And he says it's like another knife.
A knife through the heart, people.
Another knife.
So he's got one through the kidneys.
Right.
And now through the heart. It's amazing that he's able to stand.
Christine stabbed him in the kidneys. And then Janelle is now stabbed him in the heart.
But when Meri left him, he's fine.
Right. No stabbing.
No stabbing then.
No stabbing. And, he's just pissed.
Yeah, because she's also telling him, how, well, Hunter's coming to stay here on Monday. And he's like, oh, Hunter's coming. Like, it's starting to come together in his mind.
Yeah.
Like, it's happening. He's realizing, oh, all of these kids are coming. They're all going to come to, and I have no part of it. I have no place in it. No one's talked to me about it. No one's even, Hunter hasn't even texted me. Yeah, it sounds like.
He didn't even know that these guys were coming.
And he's like, oh, well, you and Christine are sharing this rental? And she's like, yeah, well, Christine's coming like the 27th. Oh, you're sharing the rental with Christine? And she's like, yeah, we're sharing this rental. Okay, fine.
But Janelle says to him, she says, some of the kids have asked, do you think Dad will come to see us at the Airbnb?
Yes.
And he says, absolutely not. He says, I have a house. I have a place to celebrate Christmas. Why would I go there? And then Janelle says, well,
which I think is very interesting, right? When he says, I have a house. So technically, Kody, when you describe polygamy to us, you technically don't have a house. So if Janelle is renting this Airbnb,
that's your house.
That's your house. So which night is Christmas? Yeah. Isn't it whomever wife you are with?
Yeah. Right.
Isn't that what it is? Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
No, he's always telling on himself. I mean, and Janelle says,
you.
Yeah, Janelle says, but you put stipulations on, anybody coming to your house.
No, I cleared that up. Yeah. I cleared that up. We had a conversation. I cleared that up. I corrected that. I corrected that, bro. I corrected that.
And she
corrected that. We're going to have a conversation, a conversation.
And she said, but it's too late. Like, I had already told them what was going on. And then Kody basically says, okay, well, then it was your job to go back to them, tell them my correction, and, facilitate this. And Janelle is just like, well, then you should have called them. And she says, Kody always wants her to facilitate these relationships. And
be the person to do that, but
improper. That's not the way it works.
But you didn't support my COVID rules. We're parents, Janelle. We needed to have a united front. We need to have a united front, and you should have. And immediately, I mean, it was just like he was so incensed that she would not just tell her kids what to do, or just say, hey, can you just come on, you guys, just. Come on, go apologize to Dad. Just call him.
Just call him.
Just
have a conversation.
Have a conversation. Make him happy. He was beyond incensed because what he says is, you're not representing me well, meaning you're my mouthpiece to the family, as if like these 6 children that you represent me with these 6 children, and you need to be representing me. And Janelle's like, well, you made me choose loyalties. You said to me, it's either my children or me. And you know what? Here we go. We're back to this ego stuff. she picked her
children. Yeah.
She chose her kids. And that again is his ego getting the best of him, realizing, oh crap, she chose her kids.
Yeah.
She chose her kids over me. And she's like, you wanted me to kick my boys out in the middle of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted me to kick out my boys during a pandemic. And I am not going to do that. And she's like, I was following the CDC rules. I was doing this stuff. I was sitting around. It was never good enough for you. I was doing all those things. And it was just not enough. And then they kind of went on this whole thing about like, when I gave you the rules and I was telling you all the rules and I was rules. Like,
yeah, which at this point is just irrelevant. It's really irrelevant. Like,
and his whole thing about like how he was talking to the boys all the time, and the boys, he would tell the boys and the boys would claim, they would say to him, yeah, I'm following all the rules. And then they brought back COVID and all this. And now, you know what the thing is that we're now, it's in the timeline, we're now at the end of 2021. And as we all know here, right, that at this point, we all know that, yes, there were certain things that people could have done to protect themselves, right?
Get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated was a big one by that point. But obviously, as we all know, there were some people that were super uber careful and still got COVID. And there were some people that were gallivanting around and didn't.
Hello, Cody got COVID.
Uh-huh.
And everyone in that house, except for Aurora, got COVID. Where did they get COVID from? I thought they were being so careful.
Yes.
The kids weren't going to school, right? Remember that whole thing about he wanted, them to keep Isabel and whoever out of school because he was keeping Robyn's kids out of school.
Well, and the other thing is, too, I mean, again, it all comes back to this idea of quote unquote, rules. It's a little bit of, it is incredibly hard this was the whole issue with COVID is, rules, and there were guidelines, and it really came down to each person had to decide for themselves what was going to work for them or not. And quite frankly, these boys, they felt like they were following the rules. And so, you taking this attitude of like, they were lying to me and they were telling me one thing and then they were going out and getting COVID. It's like that getting COVID does not mean that you weren't following the rules, Kody, because you got COVID.
Exactly. And you cannot control a fucking virus.
Yes. Thank you. You cannot control a virus.
Yeah.
As much as you want to.
So then at this point, he just kind of goes on a tirade of just making accusation after accusation to Janelle. He says, I'm tired of being gaslit. And Janelle says, you're gaslighting me. And he says, you won't take responsibility for your actions. You lack loyalty, trust, you lie, you gaslight. You're not taking responsibility. I mean, he's just ripping into her. And she says, oh, but you and Robyn are the paragons of honesty and perfection.
Oh, and we both went, oh. That was the best.
We had to pause.
And we went, ooh, that was so good. I was like, yes, Janelle, yes. Because, if this was a boxing match, I don't really watch fighting, but this would be like just a blow across the cheek. It was like, yes,
good in knockout there.
Because he kept fucking interrupting her.
And just insult after insult after
kept interrupting, but she just got a jab in there. Really, it was like, yes, get that. Twist that knife. Twist it.
They're not having a discussion. It's just this. He's just like unloading on her.
But she then says, she alludes to this, and this is what she says. This is much deeper than that. You were gone for 4 or 5 months, and they started to dig into the fact that it wasn't just about COVID. It was like, and the kids and Robyn, and that's when they started to care, and they started to get into this. What we all know, which is that Kody was using COVID as an excuse to stay with Robyn, and everyone knows that he was always with Robyn all the time, that this is where he's been
that's where he feels comfortable. And he did not want to be in Janelle's little apartment.
He didn't want to be in his apartment. He didn't want to be in her RV. He didn't want to be in any of the other places. No. He didn't want to be at Christine's house. He didn't want to be at Meri's house. He wanted to be at Robyn's house, and that's where things have been forever. And then COVID came along and blew it all up. And that's what she was alluding to.
Yeah. And so then...
then this another really good thing came up.
She says, he accuses her of lying. He's like, that's an exaggeration and a lie, which first of all, it's either one or the other. Can't be both. And he says, you lied about what's happening. And Janelle says, but you're manipulating me. And he says, no, tell the whole world. And then he looks straight into the camera.
Yes.
Looks straight and points and looks at the camera and he says, tell the whole world how I've manipulated you. And then go hang out with your buddy Christine.
Yeah. Ooh, that was so good. That was so good. Because that tells you something. He is so pissed. This kills him.
It kills him.
Kills him. Now, but he is willing all of this to happen. Because the thing is, it's almost kind of like
he's facilitating it.
He's making it happen, but it's this weird thing. It's so weird. It's like he doesn't want it to happen, but he wants it to happen. It's like he doesn't
want to admit that he wants it.
But he does and he doesn't. Do you know what I mean? It's like he is so hurt by Christine leaving, but he's shoving her that way.
He's pushing Janelle out, and she even says that at one point. Oh, that's the next thing.
Yes.
He's saying that I made all the effort and Christine is gone. And Janelle says, yeah, now you're pushing me out the door.
Yeah, you don't want to be in a plural marriage. And he's like, you undermined me. You made me, what was it? What did I just say? You made fun of me. You can't co-parent with Christine, Yeah,
he says, you never co-parented with me. You co-parented with Christine. And then he starts basically saying, you were never a good wife. That she always basically did her own thing without consulting him.
Yeah.
And she never supported him as being the head of the family.
Yes. And
it's like, wow, like we're going deep now. Like,
and all of the same. And what does this all sound like? Doesn't this all sound like what happened last year on the porch?
Right.
All the same stuff he said to Christine.
You never tried to be nice to these people.
You never did this, Christine.
You were never nice to. Yeah. I mean,
all the same stuff. You did this, you did that, you were this, you were that. And it was like, it's such BS because as we all know, we're doing our rewind. We all know that, of course, Janelle co-parented with him. We all know. We see that
she was always defending him.
Yeah, Janelle was always so easy and so easy to get along with, and just the easiest one. She was the one that made all the fucking money, and she did everything. And she was Meri was the pain in the ass that was like, we're in season 5 right now, and she's the one that's spending thousands of dollars on the wet bar,
and French doors,
and God knows what else. And she's the easy one that's like trying to eliminate rooms and having her kids sleep on the floor out front of the house. You've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. She is the one who's really always been the easiest wife. And for the first, and here comes, I don't think the two of them have ever really had an incident like this.
Yeah, they've never had a fight.
Yeah, and I feel like for the first time ever, she's sort of saying, she's choosing her children.
Right.
And for the first time, she's sort of saying, you've got to be kidding me here. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to choose my kid. And then the first sign of this, he's like, well, you're awful. You're terrible. You're this, you're that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. And he ends it with like, well, you've cheated me out of contact with my family. It's like, I'm sorry. Did she take your phone from you and your will to speak?
Did she block tell Garrison to block your number?
I'm sorry.
No.
Did she take your phone and your feet and your car and Google Maps from you? Has she taken you the will and ability? Did she tell you that Gabe's birthday wasn't October 11th? Did she take you all of this away from you? I'm sorry, Kody, I didn't know that. Oh, I'm so sorry. Because she hasn't. She's done none of that.
No, he's just desperate. He's desperate. And, she's still trying to talk to him rationally, and he just keeps interrupting her and won't let her talk. And he's just throwing insult after insult at her. And so finally she says, shut your fucking mouth and let me talk. And then he's like, oh, no.
He can't handle that.
No.
He gets up.
Yeah, he gets up and she's like, this is not only me. And, he goes and gets a little more hot water. before he storms out the door.
No, he can't. But she when she said, fucking listen to me, he can't handle it. So he gets up and he has to go get more hot water.
Got his hot water. And then he starts to go out the door. And she's like, no, you stay here and you talk to me. And he says, no. And it gets like all like a little kid. I'm not going to. Well, I don't want to.
Well, he says, like, he gets up and he says, I don't expect you to help me. I've been here day in and day out. Right? I've been here day in and day out doing everything. And she says, no, you stay here and talk. And then he says, you're not listening. Well, I'm not going to listen to you because you're not listening. Like one of that thing. And she just tells him to fuck off.
Yeah. And then he slams the door. And so
and I was emotionally
I was like, what just happened here? Okay, now.
And then Janelle says, turn off the cameras.
Janelle says, turn off the cameras. Then they turn the cameras back on, and she is crying. She's shaken, obviously shaken, as she should be. And she says, he is just looking for an excuse to leave me. And she says, then what happens to me? Mm-hmm. You know, it's clear that we're not going to be a couple. And then, she said she spent about a half hour processing all of this. And then she, I don't know, called him, texted him or whatever and said, come get your stuff out of my house.
It only took her an hour. I was like, holy.
That's decisive.
Shitballs.
But obviously this has been brewing.
Yes. You know? Well, and also how much stuff does he have at that place?
He has like maybe a box.
Yes.
One box of
Barely.
stuff.
I mean.
Because he was never there. You know, I don't think he ever spent the night there.
I hope she just threw it out in the front. It was like, get your shit.
Poured hot water on it.
And just fuck you.
Yeah. And then he says that, she does not want to see him. And she says it looks really bad if he leaves a wife. So his tactic is he just ignores you until you leave. Mm-hmm. You know, he just like what he's done to Meri. And, when she's still there. And, he did that to Christine until she left. Mm-hmm. And now he's doing it to Janelle. And it's like, that's his MO.
And this is the part that just makes truly no sense, which is he ignored it with Meri and she's just sticking around. And then, so that's the part I never quite understood with the Christine stuff is you didn't seem to want to be with her anymore. Right. So why are you so mad that she's leaving? And then you're so angry she's leaving. And then you don't seem to want to spend time with Janelle and you're so mad at her and you're so mad that she and Christine are spending time together. So why do you care so much? Like,
why are you mad?
Why are you mad? Like, why are you so mad? So people are mad. The opposite of love isn't hate. So the opposite, right? The opposite of love is indifference. Mm-hmm. So,
why aren't you indifferent?
Yeah.
Why aren't you so upset?
So there's something going on here.
I think it's because these relationships are not ending the way he wants them to. This relationship with Janelle is ending, and not only is it ending with Janelle, it's ending with all of her children, basically. And then, like with Christine, she's moving away with Truly. So he didn't like that ending,
So the Meri ending's acceptable because he doesn't have a relationship with Leon.
Yeah, there's nothing
and
that
fine.
he wants. It's nothing that he wants from her.
But with Christine and Janelle, because they have all these kids, then that's upsetting.
That he wants to continue.
Got it.
And you know how he's always saying, he's like always accusing them both of shit talking about him to their kids, which they don't. Like they are, the opposite. They're trying to facilitate as much as possible, but at a certain point, kids make up their own minds about how they feel.
Yeah.
And these are adults. So anyway.
But the problem is that Janelle has nothing financially.
Yeah.
She's now, the next thing that she's realized is I've screwed myself financially because everything that she has is tied up into this property on Coyote Pass. She's like, I'm 50 years old. I have nothing. We used partly cash, and the other part of the property is a private mortgage, as we all know. So, and again, we all know the financial situation. We talk about it incessantly. So.
And then Kody makes this incorrect statement where he says that Janelle has the same financial interest as everybody else, and it's like, no, Janelle does not have a house.
Yeah, but he keeps claiming it. At one point, Janelle had the opportunity to buy a house,
and so what? That is true. She never bought the house. She still owed a house.
Yeah,
everybody. Christine had her house. She was able to sell that, keep the money. Robyn has her house. Meri, I think, is still renting, but someone's paying for that. It's just some like $5,000 a month rent or something crazy because she rents this huge house.
I know.
And she also has that Lizzie's Heritage Inn.
Yeah.
Which is, basically she could always live there if she wanted to. Janelle doesn't have a house. And she has this equity in Kody Pass that she can't even access. And there might not even be any equity in Coyote Pass. Who knows? Oh, it's terrible.
But she did buy that RV. So I think the down payment on a house is in the RV.
Yeah, she's got to get rid of that RV.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
So now we're in Salt Lake, Utah. And thank God, it's calmed down because it's Christmas and Christine is helping Garrison make rolls.
Over Zoom.
Thank God. It was like, oh, thank God.
He's at his girlfriend's house and they blurred out her face.
she was like, I don't want to be part of this.
She wants no part of this. And they talk about how, basically Christine is like a second mom to all of Janelle's kids. And we already know all that.
Yeah.
Then... we go back
over
now we're outside at Meri's house.
So Meri's not going to let Kody and Robyn into her house.
No.
She's like, well, F you people. You're not going to let me in my...
You made me sit out in the cold like a few weeks ago. So guess what? Turn around is fair play. We can just sit out here by this little fire
I'll
pit.
at least build you a fire.
Yeah.
So apparently Cody's come right from Janelle's house.
Yeah, that's what he said.
But I would think that it's at least been a half hour, right? I mean,
I was hoping that he was going to get the phone call from her while he was there.
I know. That would have been awesome.
That would have been great.
So Cody's there and he reports back to Meri and Robyn. He's like, Christine and Janelle are trying to shut me out. They're trying to, they're they aren't bringing the kids over. And it was a mess, and we threw rocks at each other, and we didn't talk. We yelled at each other, and it was a mess. Game. Yeah, it was a whole thing. And
he's like, the boys aren't talking to me. And then he claims that he reached out to them.
Yeah, I was like, well, he says he has reached out to everyone. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? You've reached out to every single one of your children? You've reached out to these boys? And he says that, he's like, and, Janelle is colluding with the kids. I love this colluding. Oh, collusion. And even Meri, who tends to stand up for Kody, she's like, come on. Like, let's just say she's not colluding. Is it, colluding? That's a little much. Like, maybe is it possible? Like, she's just like, you've got to be kidding me here. And Christine says, I became the head of my family out of necessity. They came to me because I was there for them. Right. I was there. And again, this keeps coming back to the same thing, which is that it's a two-way street. That children, if you are not physically around for your children, they will go to the parent who is around. Mm-hmm. If your kids constantly have to go find you at Robyn's house every single time they need to talk to you, but your mom is always there in the house, they're going to go to your mom. And it's the same thing. If the older brother is always there, if the older sister is always there, if the nanny is always there and your parents are always gone, they're going to go to the nanny. Like, it's like anything else in life. The person that shows up every single day and does the pick up and drop off, and that's the person that people will feel comfortable with. That's how it works.
Well, right. And also, Kody was not only physically unavailable, I mean, he's emotionally unavailable, because even if they had to be physically separated for some reason, he can call. The burden, and he said at one point, the phone goes both ways. No, not when you're a parent. When you're a parent, the burden is on you to maintain the relationship, to keep it going, to reach out, all of that stuff. I don't care how old the kids are. You are the parent. You are always the parent. You are always the one. the ball's in your court.
Yeah.
And you have to at least try. If your child refuses to talk to you, well, then, I mean, but you cannot just sit back and wait for your kids. That's an awful feeling.
Yes.
For children to just kind of be waiting around, you know, waiting for something to happen, waiting for some contact. God, I mean, he's just like, he's the worst. This is also traumatizing.
Yes. So, now it's, so they decide that they're going to have Christmas Eve. So they're trying to figure out where are we going to have Christmas Eve?
Because it's now clear that it's just going to be Meri and Robyn and her kids.
So it's going to be kind of like what it was for Thanksgiving. Essentially, it's going to be separate. And it's so sad because Meri basically spells it out, which is it's Kody and Robyn's house and it's her house. And she basically has spelled that out where it's very clear that she sees herself as a third wheel or separate from them. So Christmas Eve is always at Meri's house. And she talks about how she used to make everyone pajamas, but now she just buys them. And she said that it used to be magical and it's not so magical anymore. So if she wants magic, she's got to make magic. It's like, God, Meri, go out and find someone. Make your own magic. Like, why are you lingering around with these two? It's like, get the fuck out.
Why don't you go to wherever Leon and Audrey live and have Christmas with them? And and that's the thing. Like, they put it on Meri. They say, well, are you going to invite all these people to, because it is your house.
Yeah.
Are you going to invite all these other people to your house for Christmas Eve? And they kind of debate it and go back and forth about it. And ultimately she says probably not, because I think she's afraid nobody would come. It would be, and then obviously if there were, then Robyn and Kody wouldn't come. And they're the only thing she's got left, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel for Meri. I feel like Meri,
she's in a bad situation.
Yeah, she's in a terrible situation. I mean, I'm glad to hear that she and Leon are in a good space, but it's like, God, go live near Leon and build a life there and build a life with Leon and their partner, and maybe they'll have kids and just be a grandmother. I don't know, like just be there and build a life there.
These people,
meet someone new, you know?
Yeah, these people are no longer serving you.
Yes.
This whole situation is no longer serving you.
But it's just like Meri's asking them permission whether or not to invite them. I'm like, you have a relationship, don't you, with Janelle and Christine? I mean, go to them and talk to them.
Apparently not.
I guess not.
I mean, I don't think she does. They've never been on good terms. And they've only, Janelle and Christine have only... tried to be nice for the sake of the family, but now they have no reason to do that or interest to do that.
I didn't write down what was the final thing that Kody said. What was his wrap up? He had some kind of wrap up thing that he said. I didn't write it down.
I didn't write it down either. The last thing I have is Meri says she's probably not going to invite everyone.
And then next week's Christmas, and then we'll see what happens from there. That was just an intense. Oof, boy.
It was very intense.
It was very intense.
So we were talking earlier about, I guess Meri had said on one of her Fridays with Friends things, she said that this season is going to take the family all the way through the end of 2022. Not necessarily the end, but late, at least late. So approximately a year is going to span this. So this is going to be a long season.
Yes, apparently the season's going into next year.
Into January
of next year. So it makes a lot of sense. So now them starting in, because we were all complaining about, well, mainly me, was complaining about how they started right after and why are we starting it so long ago. But if this is Janelle's season and it's
they have to tell the whole story.
If this season is about the breaking up of Janelle and Kody's marriage, then this is the beginning.
Well,
so they had to start from the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know what more they can. It feels like it's done. I don't
know. Maybe we're going to see the breaking down of this money thing of like, how does she make it right with the money? Maybe we'll see more. I don't know. I mean, next week we see him say, maybe I'll be the devil that I think I am. Who knows? I mean, we've already seen. I mean, this was so intense. Yeah. Just this one episode. And then there was you have a little bit of gossip but it wasn't that much. I thought it was better than that about the McKelty and the...
Oh, McKelty on her Patreon, she was commenting on the last episode, and she clarified a few things about this text message chain gone wrong. She said she initiated it. It wasn't Logan who initiated it. But confirmed that, yeah, once Robyn got involved and started trying to set the agenda, people didn't really appreciate it.
It all went to shit.
It devolved. Yeah, it was bad. And then another thing she was talking about, how the ear piercing. Mm-hmm. She felt that was inappropriate. It shouldn't have been aired. And because Kody made such a big deal about the ear piercings with the other girls, and they all had to wait. Mm-hmm. And then it was discovered in that scene that Aurora, when she came out after getting her ears pierced, she had a clotter ring on. Mm-hmm. And so she addressed that, and she said that Kody gave some of the older girls a clotter ring, but she got in trouble for something when she was like 12, and she was told that she couldn't get a clotter ring. She had to earn that privilege back. But of course, she didn't tell us what she did. But what possibly could she have done? She wore a mini skirt to school. I don't know.
Oh. Probably wore a tank top.
Yeah, and so she never got one. And then when she and Tony got engaged, Christine was upset that McKelty got this engagement ring from Tony without ever even having gotten a ring from her father first. Like, your father should give you your first ring. So she made Kody buy her a clotter ring.
Got it.
That doesn't sound very special, but...
Well, whatever. I never got a ring from my father.
Me neither. We just got like checks and cash.
Yeah, our father never gave us a ring. He just gave us a lot of checks and like, here you go, take this money. But he did give us an education.
Oh yeah,
a very expensive education, and
a very generous father.
So he but with him, it's always
nothing sentimental.
No, God, no. Just checks in lawyer paper, the kind that have
legal pads.
Here's your check, love, Dad.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And something sarcastic. That's the love right in there. Yes. Okay.
So,
all right.
That was
I am emotionally spent.
I know, I'm exhausted.
Oh God, I got to get to bed. I am just so drained.
Yeah.
All right, Brooke, wrap us up.
Okay. Well, that was...
I need a hug. I need to go home and see my pugs.
Yes, get some pug love.
I need some pug love with my pugs. And
I know, it's been a long day because we also recorded a whole bunch of episodes before this, having no idea what was ahead.
What we were going to go through with Kody.
No.
And I mean, it just started off in Oklahoma with this man group. I mean, that's where we started.
There is so much information being thrown out. Anyway,
Anyway,
so this is thank you for joining us. Thank you if you're still listening. Thank you for hanging in there. So we are, of course, releasing Sister Wives season 18 on Mondays. We're doing our Sister Wives Rewind on Tuesdays. Subscribe so that you can get both of those episodes right when they are released. And also, we have lots of other stuff in our archives. We just finished doing And Just Like That, season 2. We have lots of documentaries, true crime, other reality TV. Check it out. And we are on social media, on TikTok and Instagram at Psych Legal Pop. And if you enjoyed the podcast, if you could give us a 5-star rating and review, we would really appreciate it. And we will see you soon.
Yes.
For more. Yeah, to be continued.
Yes, like a knife in the kidneys. Like a knife in the
where
heart.
the knife's going to go next.
Yeah, next week, I don't know.
Who knows?
All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
When it comes to managing money, forget the hype and look at the results. Bill has $1 trillion of secure payments powering our bill pay tools. Instead of just moving money, Bill is powering the financial operations of nearly 500,000 customers. So stop the guesswork and start scaling with the proven choice. Ready to talk with an expert? Visit Bill.com/proven to get started and grab a $250 gift card as a thank you. Terms and conditions apply. See offer page for details.